Welcome to Winephabet Street, Season 2, Episode 21. U is for Ugni Blanc. This is a really special grape, and it is the grape that is used in Cognac. Enjoy.
Welcome to Uncork Your Mind, where we take the intimidation out of wine with your host, Debbie Giaquindo, the Hudson Valley wine goddess.
Hey everybody, hi, welcome to Winephabet Street. We are day drinking today because we have a very special guest with us. Today we are up to the letter U, and it is for Ugni Blanc, and we have Eric Forget and Julien Boteau. I think I said that sort of close.
Better than I could.
From Hein Cognac. So we are so excited to have Hein sponsor this episode today and talk about Ugni Blanc and Cognac. We're going to be learning about how to drink cognac, what cognac is, and why it is so special. So I am your co-host, Lori. I am a UC Davis winemaking graduate, WSET Level 2 graduate, a champagne specialist, and a sommelier service certified. And I am thrilled to be here and be your co-host for this educational program. And my co-host is Debbie.
I'm Debbie Giaquindo. I'm a certified specialist of wine and a wine location specialist in port and champagne. I'm author of the book, Tapping the Hudson Valley, Day Trips and Weekend Itineraries, visiting the Hudson Valley area. And I'm a restaurant owner in Trio, North Wildwood, in North Wildwood, New Jersey. And before we even get started, I have to apologize. I've had a family emergency, so I'm going to have to duck probably about 20 minutes in. But I leave you in good hands.
Hey. And our special guests are Eric and Julien. So please, Eric and Julien, give us a little bit story about you two.
So I could go first. So Eric Forget. I am the cellar master of the Hein Cognac House. I joined the company in '99, so roughly 20 years ago. I previously worked in the cognac industry in different other houses. And then I am in charge of the product and everything you could appreciate and love.
Thank you. And Julien?
I spent my youth in Turin, Chinon, where I was happy to develop my passion for the riches of this wine region. In addition, my background were wine growers in the Charente region, so I naturally studied vine and wine in Tours and later in Dijon, worked internships in prestigious estate in Burgundy or the Medoc, and joined Chateau Margaux as a vineyards manager in 2001, where I spent almost 20 years working before having the choice and joining the Domaine Island.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm so excited to be able to have both people where we can see it from the vineyard to the bottle and get the whole story in between. So, Deb, should we do the video? Get ready for the video?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Welcome to Winephabet Street, where the letter of the day is U, and it is Ugni Blanc, and we are being sponsored by Hein Cognac. So welcome. So Deb, why don't you get us started?
Okay, we'll go dive right into the interview here. Welcome. Eric, you began working at Hein in 1999. That's a long time ago. What were you doing prior to that time?
Before to join Hein, I worked in another small company called Hennessy.
Small company.
Small company.
Yes, I was in charge of the supply for wine, for distillation, for all the products, and also the relationship between the house and the suppliers. And in '99 I joined Hein, but at that time Hein was a daughter company of Hennessy. The reason why.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. All right. And so were you always into cognac? Did you grow up drinking, learning about cognac and learning about it?
Okay, just a couple of words about my background. So I am a native from the Cognac region. I born in Angoulême, very, very, very near, 30 kilometers from Jarnac or Cognac. Then I follow, and I am enologist graduate from Champagne. I have heard that some are specialists about the Champagne, so I learned in Champagne. So I love also the bubbles anyway, of course. And I was obliged to do my military service at that time. I did it in Germany, and previously my goal was to join Australia to run a winery there. But the job was over when I finished my military service, and I get an offer to come back in the Cognac area. Is the reason why I started in the Cognac. So I only work in the Cognac as a professional after my studies, of course, definitely.
Wow. And Julian, what about you? Have you always wanted to be in the vineyards and in the industry?
In Chateau Margaux.
Oh, all right. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Deb.
Yes, just a word to introduce about Julien. Julien previously to join Hein company, Hein House, was in charge of the vineyards of Chateau Margaux. So everybody knows.
Oh, wow.
Very high.
Nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. And now, Eric, you did mention that you were in the service and you were a lieutenant colonel. So it's been quoted that you love the mentality where you know that some things are allowed and some things are forbidden, and you like order. So how does that play into being a cellar master at Cognac?
Yes, it's a good question. I believe it's helped a lot because, of course, everybody knows that in the army, everything is more or less not all the time strict, but anyway, there are limits, and of course, you have orders. Some things are allowed, but that it's a very important is how you have to get the target. How you have to run your way, and I believe in a company more or less we do the same. Everybody speaks about project running in all the companies, all the industry. But in fact, you have to know that firstly, they are the soldier. I would say. They have more or less established this running business. So the link is very easy to understand. But I love the mentality because, of course, not everything is I would say is pre-established. But anyway, you have all the time to understand and to appreciate the situation. To make or to take the right decision. That is very important. And sometimes if there is a problem in a very, very short time. So reaction should be very, very, very quick. And in the army, it's something you learn all the time because you're under pressure from all the day long.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of pressure.
and you learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
What happens? So how does that order mindset fit when what Mother Nature comes in and changes things? I don't know if that's more for Julian or Eric, but Mother Nature plays a big role in the life of a cognac house.
But the nature, no.
Right.
Yes, yes. You speak about the climate change or about in general?
Just in general, you might want to, you're planning your harvest to be picked at a certain time, and then Mother Nature is going to decide it's going to rain or the temperature is going to change. So there's a lot of variation. You've got to find that middle ground between order and a little disorder.
Yes, but that's the nice thing. It's never pre-established. Of course, we have to follow the nature and the weather. And very often when I explain, when I speak about the vintage, for an example, and some questions are, why is it a very nice vintage? I don't know. It's because of God. Sometimes all the elements are very good, and the harvest is just a good one. And sometimes we are very surprised. It was a normal year. I'm speaking about the rain, the sun, and everything, temperature. And even if everything is just normal, the vintage could be great. So that's part of mystery. So of course we have to follow orders or lines, but sometimes we are also to play with the nature. So it's never fixed. So we have to play with, of course.
I love it. Go ahead, Deb.
Good. You want me to do the next question?
Well, sure.
I guess we almost kind of covered this a little bit because Eric, you were born in nearby, and I can't pronounce this town. Yes, and you grew up so close to Cognac. Was it always your goal to be a cellar master in Cognac?
No. My goal first was to become enologist, true. And then with the enology, you could work worldwide. It could be in Chile, like in France or in Germany or in US. And then I was very interested, of course, to make something abroad, and it was Austria for me. So my goal wasn't to come back to get a job. The opportunity and the offer was that, okay, I become cellar master now in the Cognac region. But at the beginning, it was to work in the wine industry or in the spirit industry. Yes, that's true. But to work in the cognac product, no, it's just by chance, more or less. Of course, I'm quite happy. There is no problem. My family is here, but it wasn't the goal when you are 23 or 24. You have only one idea in your head. It's to go somewhere and to travel. So my goal wasn't to come here back.
And now, just for our listeners, and honestly for me also, because I will be the first to admit that I am very new to Cognac. I think the only Cognac I've actually had was in the WSET class. So can you just give us a little background on Cognac, where it's located? Because Cognac gets its name from the village that it is made. So can you give us a little bit background of where it is and a little bit of the history of that region?
So where it is situated in the west part of France, very near from the ocean, 60 kilometers, so for 35 miles more or less, so quite near, and 80 miles north from Bordeaux. So in the west part of France, very near from the sea and the beaches. If some people are interested to spend some nice time here. And the Cognac itself, the name of the Cognac, take the name of the main small town that we have here in the vineyards region. So the product take the name of the town. Just to give some elements to understand how big is the region of the Cognac. In terms of vines, we have 80,000 hectares. It represents roughly 12% of the total surface of the vines in France. And to give an example, if I compare with the US, the surface represents 20% of the total American surface in terms of vines. So it's not big, but it's not small.
Small? No, not at all.
Yeah, the Bordeaux it's roughly 100, so we are a little less. And the Champagne 25,000. So just to give an idea, we are three times bigger than the Champagne area. Champagne for sparkling wine, I guess.
Okay. And like, when did Cognac become like so recognized? Like I think you walk someplace, you walk into a restaurant, Cognac is a well-known name. I'm not so sure people understand, really know that it's the region also, but it's got this high quality relationship to it. So when do you think that Cognac started its rise?
Firstly, the business of the Cognac wasn't made or established by the French, but by the Dutch and the Anglo-Saxon people. It was at the time for the fleets and for the people. They have to drink something on the ships because the wine is not so stable in time. And they have the great idea to distill the wine into spirit, and then of course the spirit is quite stable in time. So it was made by the Dutch and the Anglo-Saxon. So what did they purchase the wine, they distill the wine, and then they import in their country. It's the reason why for decades or for centuries the British they store a lot of cognac in their warehouses, in their harbors like London, Bristol, or Glasgow. So that's the beginning of the history. And then year after year or decades after decades, the people, of course, they become more and more specialists and lovers about the cognac, and they have understood that the soils and the subsoil surrounded cognac are seen as the best because originally it was more on the coast. Near La Rochelle, west from here, and then the surface of the vineyards migrate to the east because the soil were better and better. And to be honest, since 1 century now, it's very well established, and the cognac, because the vines they are on the best soil, the quality improved a lot. And it's the reason why the cognac is very well known and very well appreciated as a very upscale legal product now. That is the story as a summary.
And there's a lot of I'm asking, are there a lot of regulations that how a cognac is made? Do you have a regulating body that determines what can and cannot be called a cognac?
Yes, it's a appellation, control appellation, like in some countries, but very, 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 I would say, very often in France for many different products. For wine, of course, for champagne, the Burgundy or something. So the cognac is the same. So it means that the vines should be in a very strict area. So the surface is restricted. The vines, the varieties, they are defined. The most important is Ugni Blanc, 98% of the surface. The rest is more or less for memory. So we have to distill. So we have vines. So you have understand where we are. So the limit they are fixed. Then we have wine by variety. So we do white wine, and the winemaking, because it's a white wine, is more or less the same than worldwide. It's strictly the same. So we try to do our best to obtain the best wine to be distilled. Then the distillation is made in a Charente or special pot still. So we distill twice. It's a 2-run distillation. And then we age in oak wood barrels. That it's very strict and clear. We only use oak wood for our barrels. And the aging must be in the Cognac region. you couldn't age the cognac out of the region, even if it's in France, if you want to preserve and to keep the appellation of the cognac. The minimum should be 2 years. Of course, if you age for the 3 first years, for an example, and if you continue to do the aging elsewhere, it's a cognac. But at the beginning, for minimum the 2 first years, you should age your cognac in the cognac region. These are the most important regulation that we have to follow.
So technically, your grapes can come from outside the Cognac region, but it's the aging that has to occur in Cognac?
No, all the wines should come from the region Cognac.
Oh, okay.
They should be distilled. They should stay. They should age here, and then you could send and to send somewhere, of course, definitely. But at the beginning, everything should come from here.
Okay. And then in terms of your barrel program, is it new? Is it neutral oak? Is there what do you use in order to age?
For in a large majority, and maybe more or less 100%, all the trees we select to make our barrels are for a large majority from France. In Western Europe, we have 2 different oak trees in terms of varieties. In America, there is another one. It's called the white oak. In France, like in Germany or in the Crimea or in Hungary, we have only 2. So all the barrels, they are made from these 2 different oak trees. Then, of course, after when we have to form the barrel, when you have to burn the piece of wood, they are called the staves, to give the form. There is different I would say different ways. It depends on the style you want to give to your cognac. At Hein, because all the cognac Hein, they are very fine, very delicate, very soft, very supple. We don't chart a lot. The staves we don't burn a lot. We prefer to burn in time than with a lot of power, because at the end of the process, we want to avoid the smoky impression and the smoky impact for our style. Some other houses of cognac, they prefer to burn a lot to get this smoky impression. So it's our way. And for the trees we select the fine grain oak wood, historically more used for the white wine of Burgundy. It's more or less something quite rare in the industry of the cognac, because the other people or the other houses, they prefer to use the Limousin oak wood. Limousin oak wood. Why Limousin? Because Limousin it's a very near region from here, and in the past it was quite easy for the people to understand with a horse and a cart. It was just 1 day to get the trees. But now, we could go more north. But the trees in the north of France, they are fine. That's the reason why we prefer this one for our style. Some others, they prefer something else, just to introduce more about the quality of the wood itself and how it could impact the final product.
And now I'm not going to taste yet, but I just want to talk. We have 2 different types of Hein cognac here. We have the rare, which is a non-vintage, and then we have this Hein that is a 2010. So my question is, how is cognac kind of made in turn? Like, is this non-vintage one, is it kind of like a Solera? Not that it is a Solera system, but kind of that similar thing where you have your aging occurring so that it's always consistent year after year, like a Solera system where it's constantly kind of regulating that it's the same every year? Or is it every vintage is different, and how are you getting that non-vintage cognac?
Thank you for the introduction, because you have more or less the answer. But anyway, in general, the cognac are blends. And why blends? Because our raw material is wine. And everybody knows that in the world, everywhere, you have good years and sometimes poor years. Depends on the weather. And so it's up and down. If you want to maintain the quality and to maintain consistency in time, the best solution is to blend from different years, from different location, from different district, from different grapes sometimes. But anyway, the goal is to maintain consistency in taste. So the cognac for 99% are blends. It's a big parallel and more or less the same than with the champagne. The champagne, they are blends. Brut, you have also vintages. In cognac, we do the same. If a year is very good, you could select the cognac from only 1 year. In that case, of course, you put the date and you have the vintage. But in a large majority, the cognac are blends. At Hine, we are known and very well recognized as maybe the most important vintage maker, and since decades and decades, because it's in our DNA more or less. We are at the beginning we were English. Hine is not French, you could imagine. So the founder came from the Dorset in England, and our relationship with UK is very strong since a long time. And it just to tell that we age all time some cognac in UK, and the cognac we age, it was in the past, were vintages, so the best of the best and the best years. So we continue to do, and the good example is this domain. I will introduce it a little later on. But anyway, you could find some vintages, but in a large majority, we have blends. And the blends are under the three denominations that everybody knows, the VS, the VSOP, and XO. I could come back and explain more if you want.
So I want to go a little bit, since this is about the letter U, I want to bring in Ugni Blanc, which is the main grape that is used in Cognac. So can you tell us a little bit about Ugni Blanc, like what the grape is like, how it grows? You know, every grape tends to have something that annoys the vineyard manager that they've got to really pay attention to. Pinot, all of that stuff. So can you tell us a little about Ugni Blanc and what the grape gives you as it grows?
Cognac is made from white grapes varieties whose maturity is characterized by a low concentration of sugar and a high acidity. Ugni Blanc is the most widespread, accounting for more than 98% of production. Colomba and Folle Blanche variety are also used. Medium-seasoned, thin-skinned root variety, adapted perfectly to American rootstock, which date back to the Phylloxera era. The very pronounced acidity naturally ensure the preservation in the future wine, but also, above all, the quality of the future product. The low sugar content results in a wine which low alcohol content and allows optimum concentration of aromatic substance after the double distillation stage. A very, very resistant variety to root.
Okay, and so is there, how Pinot, has, it's a temperamental grape, people always say, or, Cab Franc, we want it's an earlier ripener compared to, the Cabernet Sauvignon. Does it have anything that you need to pay attention to that you're concerned in the vineyard? Like, is it mildew prone? Is it, anything like that? Or is it just a great grape to be dealing with?
The most important thing, and Julia introduced it, it's very resistant to rot.
Oh, okay. Resistant to rot. Okay.
I mentioned that quite near from the ocean. So it means that we have a lot of clouds, they come from the ocean. It means a lot of rain. Rain, moisture, rain, mushrooms, rain, disease, mildew, and oidium. So that is the most important thing we want to avoid. And it's very resistant to rot because Ugni Blanc, it's a variety which come from Italy. The cousin of the Ugni Blanc is Trebbiano Toscano.
Oh, okay.
So it comes from the Toscano first. So you could imagine it's more in the south. So the maturity here is less than there in the south. So it's the reason why Julien said that it's quite acid and with low level of sugar. But it's that we need to make the best cognac because too much sugar means less acidity, and the acidity it's part of the esters, and the esters at the end of the day is the bouquet. So it's the reason why the Ugni Blanc is very well dedicated variety to make cognac. That is the history. But that is the truth. That is the truth.
And being so close to the water, you have that coastal influence. Do you have the fog that sets down?
No fog. We don't have fog, but we have a lot of rain. Not so much, but anyway, enough. And because it's less now the case because I would say the weather changed definitely. So when I was a child, because I come from here, from this region, it was quite often to dig the harvest late of October, and you could imagine in October it's quite late in the season, and we could have a lot of rain. And in that case, if you have a lot of rain during the harvest, when you crop, it means you could have rot. It's something we want to. It's the reason why the Ugni Blanc is very, very important. Less, it's not the case now because we start the harvest mid September, so it's less important. It's less an issue now, but it was before.
Okay, and now to maintain that sugar to acid ratio that you're looking for, are you, when you're walking through the vineyards and you're getting ready to harvest, are you looking for a range of bricks?
Yes.
You do call it brick? You don't call it bricks, do you?
No, we have other, but it is the same. It is the level of sugar. So
okay.
We don't have the same scale, but anyway. Of course, it's something we follow. We follow in our vineyards. It's the job of Julien. But we have also an organization for the cognac appellation called BNIC, who is in charge of more or less all the regulation and everything. And they have a research department quite high and very professional. And they do everything to help us, and they follow from more or less August to the end of September, and they pick some grapes everywhere. So and they could deliver the right level where we are and how we could imagine and when we have to start our harvest. So it's a good help. But it is necessary. It is necessary.
Wow. Okay. All right. And then Julien, so Ugni Blanc is actually locally known by Saint-Emilion. By the name Saint-Emilion. So what is the relationship between Ugni Blanc to Saint-Emilion?
Yeah, explain it.
It is called Saint-Emilion because it is said to have come to Charente via Saint-Emilion. The first Ugni Blanc vine arrived in France in Avignon, then in the Gironde, notably in Cognac.
All right. So that's kind of cool. How do they know how it moved? Like are you saying that it started there?
No, it's historically, you know, the disaster. It was not. It's more the disaster of the phylloxera.
Oh, okay.
It's from USA, from America. You know, the small insect. So, you know. So anyway, more or less, all the vines disappears in Europe, so they die. So simple like that. And we have to finally to find the solution. And the solution was by grafting the European varieties on American roots.
Right.
So that we do, and we continue to do the same. And at the same time, the people, they started to understand and to have a look how the new varieties could help us at the time, because the people, they were looking for everything everywhere, because they want to succeed, and they want to how we say, to find the right solution. And they found also that the Ugni Blanc could be an advantage because it was resistant to rot. So they take some plants from the south of Italy, and they take it to the Cognac region throughout the town of Saint-Emilion. And I believe one guy say, "Oh, it's a Saint-Emilion," because he just heard that could be it's a plant from Saint-Emilion. No, it was because it was on the way. So it's a mistake anyway.
Okay.
Yes, it's disturbing a little bit, but there is no link with Saint-Emilion.
There is no link. It's a misunderstanding that just stuck. It's just
Yes, it is. Yeah. Funny.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it. I get it. It's a great story. It's always kind of intriguing how sometimes something that is not true sticks around longer than something that is truthful. You know, the story sticks around much longer. Hey, I get it. All right. And then, so let's talk about Hein itself. So it's been a cognac house for over 250 years. So can you guide us through kind of a little bit of the history? You mentioned how it kind of began, but let's kind of, do a little timeline from there to now.
From the beginning, I wasn't born, so I could just reply. And anyway, no, but of course. Even that, the founder come from the south of England. Just I repeat it was Thomas Hein, and he married here, and he gave the company his name, so it's called Thomas Hein since the beginning, more or less. And as he was English, of course, the relationship and the business was firstly made with UK. And then worldwide. So is the reason why the House of Hein is established in Jarnac and not in Cognac. If you have the occasion to come here, and you are welcome. Anyway, the region of Cognac is quite small, and you have two not big cities, but two small cities where the houses of Cognac are. Cognac and Jarnac, 10 kilometers between, more or less, or 12, it means 7 miles, very near, right. on the Charente River. And why on the Charente River? For the history, because the Charente River before was the highway, because everything was made by boat for the export.
Right.
Is the reason why the Cognac success is important, because the Cognac region was in a way to the harbor. So Hein is established in Jarnac, and since the beginning we continue to export our cognac, and even if we continue to make cognac, to purchase, to age, to blend, and finally to sell to the consumer, we are also wine growers, and Julien is the director of the estates. So it means we're in charge of the product from the roots of the vine to the glass on the table in the New Jersey or in San Francisco. So no, but it's true. It's not the case for everybody, because for a long time the houses of cognac, they only do business. They only did business. They purchase the wine or the distillate from the wine grower or the distiller. They continue, they age, and they blend, and they sell. Just a few companies, more or less, are able to do the whole process like us. That is very important for the quality and for the consistency in time. It means the cognac we have in our warehouses, 10 years old, 20 years old, they come from our estates, and everything is done to follow our style. That's important. Of course, if you purchase from the trade, if you work with some brokers, sometimes you find that you need it, but sometimes less. So it could be difficult for the cellar master. Of course, it's the job, so you are in charge of it in a way. You have to cook it. But it's less easy if you start to elaborate your quality first in line with your quality or quality policy. That's exactly we do at time. And the style of wine was established a long time ago. Wine in the cognac approach is maybe the most floral, the finest, the most delicate, the very soft, very velvet product. It's totally true. And if you have a look, something we could discover after. If you have a look about our cognac, they are quite pale. They are not so dark. So it means what? There is less wood. The wood is very important for the aging. Of course, we need wood because it's combination with the element of the cognac of the distillate, and it's part of the bouquet and I would say the complexity. But if there is too much wood, the wood could be seen as a killer. It could cover the finesse and the bouquet. So at times, as we want to preserve the richness and the delicacy, because we only work with the champagne to district the best, and because from these two districts, the cognac, the wine are the best in terms of richness of aromas, we don't want to cover these aromas. So it's the reason why we reduce the quantity of wood, just that we need to maintain balance. And it's also a reason why we don't chart a lot the state, because we don't want to have too much tannin, but only the I would say the vanilla approach and the soft tannins, just to maintain and to keep this richness of the distillate. So the finesse and the delicacy of wine, it's really the signature of the style, and since the beginning. So it's more or less a sum of the DNA of the whole cognac from the whole range, I guess.
So now you mentioned that you distill it twice, right? And is it pot belly still? What is there a specific? It's a pot belly still that you have to use, correct?
It's a copper still. It's
copper
a copper
still, okay.
Okay. To distill worldwide, there are two different types. We have quite small still with like an onion style, or something round, more or less. Or you have a column,
right?
A column for the rum, for the whiskeys, for the grain whiskey. The same for the gasoline, if you want, more or less. Just a selection of different. No, it's true.
Right.
And for the cognac, we only use this copper still made in this form of onion. In comparison, more or less like for the whiskey, if you take the example of the Scotch whiskey, the malt is only distilled in pot still, like that we use here, a little bigger, but the format is the same. Otherwise, if you have a blend whiskey could be malt plus grain whiskey, and the grain is distilled in a column. In cognac, everything is done, everything is distilled in a pot still, and we distill twice, like for the malt, the same, because after the first run, you are not able to get a quite high level of ABV.
Okay, so when you harvest the Ugni Blanc, when you harvest the fruit, you allow it to finish fermenting, or are you stopping fermenting before distilling?
We finish.
It is fully fermented, and then are you distilling immediately after fermentation, or is it waiting? Are you holding it for a while and aging it for a while and then distilling?
No, we could stop the day after.
Okay.
It's not so evident technically, but in general, we wait 1 or 2 weeks and we stop.
Okay.
And we stop at the end of March by the law. That's I would say a regulation. It's not because it's not possible to distill after, but it's to preserve the quality of the wine. Because in the wine we use in the cognac region, we don't add any sulfites, because the sulfite during the distillation process makes very I would say difficult and bad taste. So we don't add anything to preserve the quality of the wine. So the only thing or the only help we have to maintain the quality of the wine is the temperature, outside temperature. And you could imagine in the winter, it's colder than in the summer. So the people here, they have decided end of March, it's enough. So we stop the distillation. So we distill more or less from October to end of March.
Okay, that's kind of cool. All right, I get that. All right, so now the House of Hein has 3 tiers or groupings, I guess. You have the great classics, the singulars, and the exceptional. So can you explain what each of those 3 tiers mean to Hein?
The great classics are more or less the denomination of everybody. On the shelves, you have some selection of cognacs. You have the VS category, the VSOP and XO. VS, we have kept the English denomination because VS means very special, and VSOP very super old pale. So we have in France, but we have kept the British in XO and in extra. So these are blends. These are blend, and everybody do these categories. At time we don't make VS. We start with the VSOP. For one reason, because we only work with Grand and Petit Champagne, and Grand and Petit Champagne, they do the best wine and the best cognac, but they need more time to reach a certain maturity. So to make a VS, I mean quite young cognac with wine made from the distilled champagne is a nonsense, because there is not enough maturity to make something good. So it's the reason why we start with the VSOP. So everybody do the VSOP. At time we have the VSOP Hedge behind, for an example, and we have the XO and XO. Everybody. These are the main range and the normal range. Then we have something exceptional, or how you mention it. I don't use the second family.
The great classics and then the singulars.
The singular. Thank you so much. The singular. Why singular? Because it's something rare. And not everybody do this such product. And one good example is the Domaine Cognac. So it's something we have launched 10 years ago, and we started more or less 10 years ago. It was more or less my idea at the beginning. We are quite very happy and lucky to have very nice estates in Grand Champagne, in the heart of the Grand Champagne. Grand Champagne, more or less, it's 15 different communes or parishes, and among these parishes, fine, they are very, very good, and wine is Bonneuil. And our main estate, from where Julien is coming or is in charge of it, the soil, the subsoil, and the quality of the wine is gorgeous. So I decided, why don't we propose to the consumer something from that so typical estate and domain? So we have decided to launch the best years. Only a small quantity, small quantity. I mean 20 or 25 barrels, not more. So it means, it's not a lot. Huh? It's just a couple of thousand of bottles. It means from the same, from a unique estate. It's a single estate, single year, because we're in the best year, and the single plot. So I select the best plot every year. So it's real the example or the expression of the terroir. It's a domain product, and if I do the comparison with Chateau Margaux, every year at Chateau Margaux, they do something good, and it's the product of the combination between weather and the soil. So Domaine 9 is strictly the same. It's a good example. So it's a domain product, and it should be seen as a unique product, because if I have a look surrounded here, only Hein produce this such product.
Wow.
And it's a vintage, of course. It's a vintage. By definition, yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna get to the most fun part of this, and we're gonna taste.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good idea.
So my first question is, how do you, somebody who is just coming into cognac, just trying cognac, how are you suggesting someone taste cognac? What What do they do? What temperature? How does somebody new to it approach? Now, I noticed that in the rare, in with this bottle, I had a very special package that also included these cute little ice things. So basically what I did was I opened it. I saw there was an H for the Hein, and then you filled it, and then I froze it. So I have ice cubes here. So do you typically drink cognac over ice cubes?
It depends.
It depends. Okay.
It's a very good question. The question was, how do you prefer to taste it? It depends if you want to taste it, if you want to drink it first.
Okay.
It's not the same. No, it's a joke.
No, I get it, because you can either drink wine, or you can sip wine, or you can drink wine. So I get it. I'm right there with you.
The same for the cognac. No, it depends if you want to drink it neat. The glass shape is very important. The best, if you drink it neat.
Okay.
The best is the
okay.
or the port wine glass or the wine glass. Okay. Not the flute of the champagne, definitely.
Right.
Neat. Then, if you want to drink it because it's very warm and it's very hot outside, and you are in New Orleans and you have to drink it. So if you put an ice cube, of course, your glass is totally good. It's gorgeous and the right one. If you drink the cognac aged behind, and if you make a cocktail or a long drink, of course, take a bowler, take a very tall glass. There is no problem. But if you want to drink the cognac neat, and if it's a very old cognac, from the very rare cognac, aged more than 50 years, something like that, and the price is very high, of course, you don't put any we say, Coke or juice in it. So you drink it like
to taste it.
That's true. So in that case, the glass is very, very important to, I would say, to make the best. But otherwise, if you add an ice cube, and something I do in the summer, right? But it depends of you. It depends how you like it. The best way to appreciate it, it's like you love. It's not my idea. Maybe we don't like the same thing, but anyway, you are right. If you appreciate it, so if you appreciate it,
I love it.
Keep it.
That's right. I tell everybody all the time, you should never let anybody tell you what you like or what you don't like. If you like it, it's a great wine. If you don't like it, it could be $1,000 bottle of wine. If you don't like it, it's not a good wine to you.
Good.
All right. So how do you want me to try this? Because I'm going to follow what you suggest me to do. Do I dump the ice cubes? Because I have another glass here. It's still the same shape, sadly. But what are you suggesting?
You have the rare and you have the Bonneuil.
Right. And which one do we taste first? So
there is no big issue because they are not so far in terms of I would say. Of course, they are different, but they are not so far in terms of I would say of charge of wood. That is very important. Okay. It is the woody impact. Anyway, you have all time to start with the lightest. If there is something wood or woody at the end.
Right. Okay.
The last.
Makes sense.
Anyway, both are quite light. There is no problem. So you could start with the rare.
All right.
I have to take the rare. So the rare. I think we should start for everybody. So the rare is a blend. It's a blend of champagne, ground and petit champagne. So for me personally, I have a Tulip one. So it's a blend made from ground and petit champagne. It's a very, very delicate, very soft, very light and fruity cognac. Have a look again about the color. It's not so dark.
No, and I have to say, I kind of in my brain, I thought cognac was dark, so I was surprised when it arrived and I looked at it. I was like, oh, this is lighter than I thought. So now, is this lighter than others because of your oak, because of your toast?
Yeah, because they use more wood, or when I speak they use more wood, it means
The toast.
cognac stay a longer time in new oak wood at the first,
Oh, okay.
during the beginning of the aging, and then they chop more and they burn more the stem when they do the form to the barrel. So anyway, this one is very, very fruity and easy to drink, and very elegant and rich in the aromas, and never aggressive. At time, you don't find any cognac with aggressivity. That's our it's our, we say, touch of style.
It's so, all right. So I'm going to say one of the reasons why I don't drink, I stick to wine mostly, is because lots of the spirits, lots of things like that, they burn me. And this does not at all. This.
Thank you so much. It's our goal. It's that I try to make all the time, because very often a lot of people, and first the female, they say, I don't drink cognac because it's very harsh, it's very aggressive, it burns. At time, no. There is one reason also. It's because when we distill our wines, we distill our wines with the lees. The lees are the dead yeast and some element from the grapes and from the interior of the grapes. And these two elements, they give I would say they give some softness, and they deliver an impression of something I would say buttery or creamy, and it makes the cognac easy to drink. And just a few houses of cognac they distill with the lees because it's more complicated. It could be dangerous anyway. But at time, it's something you do, and for that goal.
I shouldn't sound so surprised, but I am, because my past experiences were not very good. Like I said, the only cognac I really had was when I was in the WSET class, and I literally keeled over. I was like, it was like, in which they then told me that I should put water in it. That was what I should do. And I questioned that, because if the cognac house wanted me to put water in it, there would be a process to not have, you know what I'm saying? I don't think the cognac house would want you to dilute their cognac. That's, this is really lovely. It's so, the aromas, it's kind of there's like a spiced orange,
orange, very common in the high-end products. I believe it's our proper process, and more for the cognac we continue to age in England, because the conditions are totally different there. It's colder, and so, but the orange impression, the citrusy impression, is very present. Yeah, very, very often. It's totally true.
Yeah, it's very nice. Like I can sit back and chill with this. This is nice. Nice end of the day, relaxing.
It's a great time. For us, it's 7:30 p.m. For you, it's 11 something, no?
It's 11 a.m. for me. It's close enough.
So it's
11 a.m.
No, it's true. It's a very good time.
All right. This is really, really, I have to tell you, I'll be honest, I was a little worried because of my reaction in the WSET class. I was like, okay, poker face. If it's not gonna be, if it's gonna burn me, poker face. But it really is. It's gentle, but it's so powerful in flavor, but gentle in that burning sensation. And I don't know if that's making sense. It's because it's very.
I agree. Next time you could do the presentation, because you have the right words to describe it. It's totally true. It's that it's how we describe the cognac line. But it's not just describing; it's also something you could, I would say, something you could appreciate and understand when you taste it.
Yes, so, absolutely.
Because a good cognac should be, as you totally say, you're totally right, it's very supple and everything, and it should be rich in aromas. because so many cognac, because they are too woody, they have one impression. They have the wood, and beside they have the wood and the wood and the wood. So they are mono. It's true, mono taste or mono. So at time it's an explosion. It's like a bouquet of aromas, because we have at the beginning, of course, definitely throughout the raw material, and because we keep them. We keep these aromas. We never cover them with the wood.
No.
Never.
All right. Let's move on to
The second.
Yes. So now this is a 2010.
Yes.
And it's pretty cool because it's got what bottle number it is. So my bottle is 108 out of only 450 bottles. So first of all, thank you. If you only have 450 bottles of this, thank you so much for sharing it with me. And now, so it was bottled in 2020. So it was bottled July 21st, 2020. And then it also has a cask number on it. It says 18 out of 18. So can you explain?
Just to sum up, the Bonneuil is not easy to tell in English. I know Bonneuil means good eye, because the where we are situated, there is an overview and it's very nice. So it means Bonneuil, good eye, so nice overview. So that's the meaning first. Okay. So we elaborate and we launch onto the market this special product only the best years. So 09 we don't have, because we don't make it, because it wasn't so good. 11 the same. So you are very lucky with the 2010, because I believe is one of the best since the last 30 years. To be honest, it's a very, very nice vintage. Not only for the cognac, for the Bordeaux area the same. And Julien could speak a lot about it. So only the best years, and I select from the best plot of the estate after the winemaking, of course, and after the distillation, because we distill batch by batch, and I select the best, and from this best I select 20 or 25 not more cask. They are aged in a separate cellars, not warehouse, because smaller is a cellar on the estate, strictly on the estate. And after 8-9 years, we finalize the cognac and we start to sell it. And when I speak about this cognac, is totally pure cognac. The only thing we had in this cognac is just water to reduce the ABV. That's it. There is no addition of nothing. So it's real the truth of the cognac. And this cognac is called as a professional eau de vie brut. Brut means, you understand, brut, totally natural. So in a blend, you could appreciate it, or you could understand that cognac as one of the ingredients of a blend. But in that case, it's only one, of course, definitely, because it is the best. So the goal is to propose the best years from the best location of our estate. So we started with 2005, we have the 6, the 8, but you don't have the 7 because that's a good, the 9, and the next will be 2012.
Oh, okay.
And not 11. So, and we want really to propose that I explained it before. So I mean the expression of the combination between weather and soil. That's it. And of course, for the rest, we try to do our best. And again, have a look about the color. It's very pale. Oh yes, we have to open it first.
Yes. All right. Oh, it's lighter. It's even lighter than the original, than the rare.
Yes, it's extra made. It's extra made because more than for the other cognac of the range, we want to preserve the richness of the aromas. And the more you have the wood, the less you have the I would say the less you have the explosion of the aromas, because the wood could cover a little bit. So the reason why it's very pale in wood, because they stay just, instead of 8 to 9 months in your wood, only 5 months.
Oh,
Just
okay.
yes, because we need the wood, but not so much, because we want really to preserve this fruitiness, this floral hint.
See, now I still get orange, but it's a different orange. I still get orange, but the first one kind of had like a little spice to that orange, and this does not. This is more citrus, or citrus with that orange.
Personally, I found a little bit melon on the nose.
Okay. Oh, it's a whole. Oh, wow. That's a whole different. That's a whole different wine cognac. It's that the palate is, and this to me is higher acid. My tongue is really salivating more on this one than on the rare. And it's more the fruit is longer on my palate on this one than on the rare.
It's longer.
They are very different. They are very different.
It is totally different, but have a look again. 2010 is one of the best since maybe 20 years. It's a great year. So it's a very good vintage. Some others you could have less concentration in aromas, but this one particularly is a very good cognac because it was a good wine, a good year. So you are quite lucky to have the occasion to taste together, even if we are quite far away anyway.
Yes, we'll toast far away. Yeah. Well, I am honored that like I said, 450 bottles, and I am getting to taste it. And this is incredible. This is really, and to be able to taste the difference between the two is quite an experience. Being able to tell that difference.
It is the true cognac.
Okay.
It is a natural cognac. The cognac should be like that. If it's very dark, if it's very woody, sometimes it's too much, and it's a shame, really, if you have something very expressive with a lot of different hints or flavors, and if at the end of the process, if you cover them, so we don't want to cover them. Is the reason why. We had less wood, or we manage our aging with less wood to preserve this fruitiness and richness and cheers
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question, and you don't have to answer it. But so in the United States, we have some wine that is maybe not so great of quality, that the wineries try to hide the lack of quality by increasing that oak, by changing what you're looking at. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but do you think that occurs in some cognac houses, that they might not have the quality that you have? That
do I have to reply?
No, you don't. No, you don't. As I said, you do not. But I can. When you have quality grapes, when you have a quality product, you don't want it to hide behind a winemaker's, what the winemaker does. What are the biggest things, Julian, right? The wine is made in the vineyard, right? That's where it starts. And if it's done correctly in the vineyard, then the winemaker or the cellar master's job is a lot easier. It's when they've got to start doing ducks and weaves to try to do something else to make it a better wine, right? We want less manipulation to have that. So, but no, you don't need to answer it. I just thought I'd throw that.
Yeah, right. Yes, you are totally right, and we're on the same line. I could agree more. It's also a teamwork. Julien is in charge of the vines. Of course, he should make the best grapes in a good shape, because they are good terroir. So anyway, if the shape of the grapes are very high, we make very good wines. We don't have to make mistakes. And then we have to do our best during the distillation, in the aging, and at the end, if you have everything from the beginning, and if you don't make any mistakes, you shouldn't. you are able to make the best product. Definitely, it's that we try to do. And I'm quite happy if you have discovered something I would say special anyway, but very good, and how the cognac could be.
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed. It is beautiful, and the difference between the two, it makes the experience even better to know to have been able to taste them both. There is a difference. This to me has more fruit forwardness to it than the rare. And the acid is higher, the salivation, that acid level is higher. But and like I said, the rare is delicate but powerful at the same time in the most perfect ways.
Yeah, very wrong. And as it's a blend, it means we had so many different things. Of course, it's more complex at the end. In that one, it's a unique product. It's only one batch. In that one, 20 or 25 different batches. So they are picked and selected for their proper qualities. And of course, they are rich at the end. Even if it's the best year, it's unique. But it's very sharp, and it could be a little more salty and so. But the nose is gorgeous.
Yes, gorgeous. Gorgeous is a perfect descriptor of it. So I have one more question in terms of, because the Cognac region, and you had mentioned it's called Champagne, but my question, I guess, is Champagne is so specific of, what Champagne regulates, right? They have the riots, they have all of that to keep their name Champagne. How are you allowed to put Champagne on it?
It's a long history. The roots of the name Champagne took part during the invasion of the Romans with Caesars at the beginning of the two millennium ago. Everywhere, when the Romans, when the army of the Romans, everywhere when they have discovered the same soil that they have surrounded Roma, the town in Italy, the capital of Italy, they gave the same name because surrounded Roma, the soils are very chalky, and the province there is called Campania.
Okay.
So, you know that. So everywhere they have found the same soil, they gave the same name. When you travel in France or Western Europe, everywhere you find some villages with Campagnac, Champagnol, Champagne. Everywhere they have the same name, even in the south of England, in Switzerland, Germany, or in Belgium. So it means, Champagne means chalky soil. So it's the case in the north of France, from where the people, they do sparkling wine, Champagne. So I study in Reims, so I know very well. I know the Champagne and I appreciate a lot. But here, because it's very chalky, and we have on the same level in terms of geology, so it's also called Champagne. So Champagne is the soil.
Okay.
And in the Champagne for the product, they gave the name of the soil. Here we gave the name of the town. But in fact, the soil, they are the same. They are very similar, very, very similar. So but you could find also Champagne wine in Switzerland, because they elaborate Champagne wine in Switzerland, not white wine.
Okay. Right. All right. All right. Awesome. And then my last question is going to go back to Julian, because I am a tree hugger. I love the environment. I do all of this. And so the House of Hein just renewed your certification, environmental for Cognac, and then the HVE. And you've got a double certification, that's 90%, and you're looking to get to 100%. So congratulations, because I love any place that does something for the environment. But so what's the story behind it, the passion behind it, and what are you doing to continue that certification?
Mm-hmm. We are very proud to be among the first in the Cognac region to have the dual certification for all your estates. This is a crucial step towards true traceability in the vineyard. It is a real foundation for going even further in your environmental approach to law.
So I just have to say, I love it. I love it because it's you're the first. So to be the first to do anything is wonderful, but in my opinion, to be the first to do something for the environment is kudos. So not only, but I think that carries over to allowing Eric to make this incredible cognac that, phenomenal cellar master, but you have to start with good grapes. You have to start with good vineyards. And in order to have good grapes and good vineyards, you have to care about nature. You have to care about the soils. You have to care about giving back, what Mother Nature is giving to you. So thank you for doing that. And it shows in the wines themselves. So kudos.
Thank you so much for
yes, kudos.
for your confidence and for your approach.
I'm sorry, what?
No. Thank you so much for your confidence and for discovering our product and how we could appreciate it, even if it's in different ways. I mean, different glasses or different with something or neat or.
Well, I'm going to I have, this is embarrassing to say, I actually have a glass that is similar to that shape. But I saw the ice cubes, so I went with it.
No, you're in the right. No problem.
So that is good. That is good. And then before we leave, I just want everybody to know how to find you. So if they come, now that things are opening up again, if they come to the Cognac region, can they come and visit the House of Hein? Can they do tastings there? Are you welcoming guests?
Of course, we have the people. Okay, we have the COVID for the time, but it could be finished in a couple of months, something. But anyway, of course, we have some visiting tour here. You could also visit the estates. It's not so far, and you could also have a personal or dedicated tasting. Yeah, why not?
Which I highly recommend now.
That's right. But anyway, no, everybody is very welcome here to visit us and to take part and to understand more about how we run the cognac production and how we could make this such a nice product and the people could appreciate a lot. Thank you so much. Everybody.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for taking your time, both Julian and Eric. And thanks to Clayton for organizing it for us and for sending me these wines. And I say slancha. So I don't know if you do this do you do cheers with cognac? I don't know, but I'm going to do it with you anyway. So I say slancha, which is Irish Gaelic. So slancha. And thank you very much. Enjoy your evening. And thank you both for such an educational experience and for wonderful cognac. Have a great night.
Thank you so much. It was a great pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Now, wasn't that a great episode? I learned so much about the grape and actually cognac. And I actually need to apologize. I had a family commitment and I had to duck out earlier. But I did come back and watch the entire episode. And it was just absolutely wonderful. And I love it when we have these wonderful guests on our show. So I'm Debbie Giaquindo. I am the Hudson Valley Wine Goddess. And if you would be so kind to leave a review on this podcast on whatever podcast platform you're listening to it on, I would greatly appreciate it. And you can find me at HudsonValleyWineGoddess.com. I'm on Facebook as Hudson Valley Wine Goddess and HV Wine Goddess on Twitter and Instagram. And you can always email me at Debbie@HudsonValleyWineGoddess.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.